Did you know, as human beings, as Homo sapiens, we cannot have more than 150 meaningful relationships in our life at any given point. Your perspective towards the world, your desires, your purpose in life, what do you like, your likes and dislikes, the movie preferences, the TV series you watch, the fashion, the kind of clothes that you wear, the kind of food that you eat, everything is affected by these 150 people in your life. These 150 people form your network. There are 7 different points in modern Homo sapiens, in modern human beings' lives, where the future completely changes for each of us. All of these 7 points are also accompanied by drastic changes in our networks. And we are going to discuss that today. We are going to discuss how is it that these networks affect us, how do they define our future, and how is it that we can take control of them and make the future that we want it to be. Coincidentally, I also happen to be standing on one of these 7 points that define the rest of our lives, and I will tell you all about it at the end of this video. But for now, let's start talking about networks. Alright, like I told you, there are 150 people with whom you could have meaningful relationships at any given point in your lives. This 150, this number is known as Dunbar's number. Robin Dunbar was the anthropologist, he's from Britain, who was behind this theory called the social brain theory, which suggests this particular number 150. Now this is where the theory gets really interesting. It says you are closest to the first 5 people. So this is your family, your loved ones, probably your best friend as well. Up to 15, these are the people who are your close friends, the people you have, you go out to trips with, you have 1 hour long phone calls, you can have heart-to-heart conversations, etc. Up to 45 are the people who you could call friends maybe. So these are the friends you meet frequently, they might be your classmates, colleagues, batchmates, etc. And up to 150 are the meaningful contacts that you can have. These are the people that you know, they know you well enough, you interact maybe once or twice a month, a quarter or a year, however you want to choose. The theory goes 1 step beyond, in fact 2 steps beyond, and it says 500 people are the acquaintances. That means these are the people that you know and they know you as well, and you might have some chance interactions as well. Up to 1500 are the total number of people that you will recognize. Now these might be people like celebrities, like YouTubers, like Instagram influencers that you recognize, and they affect your life in some way, but they might or might not know you. So those 1500 people at any given point in your life form your complete network. But the first 150 are the ones that really impact your entire life in a big way. I know the theory is already starting to make sense to you. I'm sure the faces of those first 5 and 15 and 45 people already flashed through your mind and you're thinking of them right now. And I agree with you, the theory does make a lot of sense. It's very intuitive. Once you point it out, it just seems so real. It's like, how did I not recognize this before? Knowing this much alone also explains so many things in life. Things like some very drastic events like a breakup, a death in the family, or a divorce even, affects the people involved so deeply. It impacts the rest of their lives and the lives of the people around them, the people who are surrounding them in a big way, because when such events happen, they are essentially affecting the closest 5 people, the network of the strongest network that you have, the closest 5 people that you know in your life. And that is why these events have such long-lasting changes. Throughout our lives, people keep moving between these 4 or 5 stages. So a person who was your best friend in school might have been the closest 5 in your network. But after you went to college or you started working, you lost complete contact with them maybe. And now they are beyond 150. And somebody you went to college with who was like the 150th person you knew, but now you're working together, you're spending time together each and every day, and now you're best friends, and now this person becomes one of those closest people in your life. So that keeps happening all the time. People are always in constant flux, moving between these layers. So what? How does it matter? How many times has it happened that a friend started using a different slang, and soon enough you're also using the same slang? What happens with me a lot of time is that I end up replicating the body language of the friends that I keep hanging out with. I start using the slangs that they use. I start speaking like them. Even my tone becomes a lot like them. Likewise, all 150 people influence you in some way. Your aspirations, your dreams, your idea of a perfect life, opinions about political parties, opinions about economy, even things like your career choices and your life partner are influenced by your network. Think of yourself as a computer, as a CPU, and think of all of these interactions as data points. All of these interactions will give you multiple data points that you can input. And you as a processing unit, as a CPU, you will process them the way you want, and then the outcome will come. And that is how these networks affect your life. You are the average of 5 people you hang out with all the time. Whoever said that was not kidding. It is 100% true. Your networks do affect you a lot. Now, if networks have the power to change your life completely, doesn't that conversely also mean that if you change your networks, you can also change your lives? Think about some of the biggest changes that have happened in your life personally. Just think about them. And now think about this. Has any network change taken place? Did you move to a new city? Did you change schools? Did you go to college? Did your friendships break with your existing friends? Did you make new friends in their place, for example? All of these changes trigger a lot of changes in your life as well. In fact, around the biggest changes in your life will be the biggest network changes as well. In the lives of modern Homo sapiens, modern human beings, there are 7 different points where our lives and our futures change completely. And all of these 7 points are accompanied by a corresponding big network change as well. And let's talk about them. The first one is the family that you're born into. You don't really have a choice on the family that you're born into, obviously. But these people do become some of the closest people in your entire life. In fact, more likely than not, the top 5 people in your network will always be your family. The second one is the school that you go to. School is the first network that you have outside of your family. And this is where some of your first dreams, your aspirations, your values get shaped. And that is why whatever you learn in school, the nurturing that you get from school remains with you for a very long time. The third one is college, and college is probably the most exciting one. It's probably the most memorable one as well for most people, including myself. And I think the reason is that when you go to college, especially in a new city, a lot of your networks change. Number one, you're moving away from the closest 5 people of your network. You are also most likely changing the group of close 15 friends that you have. And if you're changing that, you're also likely changing the other 45 and the 150 people. And hence, this is a dramatic shift. This is also the time when you have a lot of firsts in your life. First time moving out of house, first time living away from parents, first time when you have a lot of freedom in your life, the first time you are probably dating somebody. And that is why so many couples form in colleges and so many of them end up getting married as well. The next one is your first job. Your first boss, your first colleagues, the first company that you work with define the values, the skill sets, the things like punctuality, being on time, presentation, the way you dress is all impacted by the first company you work with. It in fact lays the foundation of, the first skill sets that you have that will define your future career and hence causes significant changes as well. The fifth one is when you get married. Your spouse or your partner will most likely be one of those people who is directly going to enter the top 5 closest people in your life and will likely remain there for the rest of your lifetime as well. And so whatever they do, literally everything they do every single day will impact your life as well every single day. And that is why, marriage is one of the most important networks you have. And if you're from India, it's not just it's the network is not just you and your partner, it's also the networks of your families that will impact you. And, a lot of things go down over there. Number 6 is the place where you live. Now, this is something that impacts the other 5 factors that we spoke of, because it will define the kind of school you went to, the kind of college you went to, the kind of crowd you met, the kind of colleagues you met, the kind of spouse or partner you met. It will define a lot of different things. So geography happens to be one of the strongest factors for change. In fact, people's lives change completely when they move to a new city. Even more so if they move to a different country or even a different state for that matter. And so geography is a very, very important factor. And the last one is your free will. So far we've spoken about these different networks as if they're zodiac signs. They are not. I mean, of course you have free will. And so you can choose to change your networks and your life completely whenever you want to. The easiest way, in fact, to change your life completely is to change your network completely. You might have heard from a lot of people how shifting cities or changing jobs or changing schools, changing colleges completely change their life. A lot of people get out of a difficult time in their lives when they, change or switch jobs or switch cities. And they're not just changing jobs or cities or schools or colleges. They're changing entire sets of network. And that is why the changes are so profound. And it genuinely is one of the best ways to change your life. Just change your network. So those were the 7 points, and obviously this is not none of this is original work, right? This is obviously based on Dunbar's work. This is also based on the work of this venture capitalist fund called NFX, short for Network Effects basically. It's based out of US and they fund essentially network-based startups. And I've been following them for a while, and that is how I came to know about all of this. Now, they say that once you have this knowledge, you should use this to steer your life, personal and professional. So, for example, they say that when you're choosing a first job, instead of looking at the brand name or the company name or the salary that you get, it is more important to look at factors like which city is it located in, or what are the kind of people who work there, what are the kind of careers that the people who work there end up having eventually, what are the kind of people that ex-employees of that particular place end up becoming, because these are the things that will define your network eventually, and these are the things that will define your future career as well. So if you start working somewhere and because you really like the money or the brand was really lucrative for you, in the longer term it might not be able to take you where you want it to be initially. And I told you at the beginning of this video that I am standing at one of these crossroads, at one of these points where my life can potentially change completely. I know it will change completely for sure. And this is it. The first job is what I'm looking at in a couple of months from now. And to be honest, it's easier said than done to do this. It takes a lot of research, and more than anything, I think it will take a lot of courage. If I am presented with an opportunity where I have to choose between, a brand and money, and on the other side there's networks, I'm not sure how effectively I will be able to do that. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm trying to put my knowledge to best use over here, and let's see how things turn out. So, okay, that was a little personal bit about me. This theory not only sounds really intuitive and real, it genuinely does shape your life in a big way. What is even more surprising is that it shapes businesses and startups, and hence the economy of various countries in even bigger ways. In fact, in the past 20 years, of all the revenue that was created by technology companies, 70% revenue was created by startups that had network effects embedded in them. And of course, that is super exciting to me, and I'm going to explore them as well in further videos. So this is something really interesting that I came across, and I'm going to link a lot of things for you below. So, go ahead and check out the NFX website. Go and check out Dunbar's law and what does it say exactly. Go and check out an ebook that I'm going to link underneath. And of course, check the next video where I'm going to talk about, well, you'll find out. Yeah, I think that was it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it. I'll see you guys next time.